Good morning. I think we're set. Let me get the stream up, make sure everything looks okay. But while I do that, I guess some good news is I'm in the process of making this a little more permanent, where I don't have to rely on my cell phone, and which would be nice. I think it would just be a little bit better picture quality. Not that like phone cameras are so nice these days, but for going live, the picture quality isn't quite what I want it to be. So let me just pull this up, get chat pulled up. We'll be ready to roll. It's Friday. We are playing Iron Curtain. Pretty excited for this one. I've never played Standard Combat Series. We're going to talk about this one. I've done some setup. My goal is to, when I do these streams, allow you to see like the whole game being played out, right? Including setup, not so much takedown, although I have comments about that with this game. But that way you just know, like, what are you getting yourself into? And so, again, my wife's just put the little one down, but if you hear noise, that's what it is. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. But bad news is, just with my current setup, we don't get to see everything. So there's air display, special assets, and stuff that are off camera. That will just have to do without seeing. So yeah, hey Mitch, happy Friday. Let's talk Iron Curtain, and then we'll finish setup, and we'll go from there. Which is not necessarily diving right in because this does a few different things with the system that are worth talking about. So I've never played Standard Combat Series. This is one of the more recent last 2 or 3 titles in this series to come out, designed by Carl Fung, and who's done a lot of work for Orders of Battle for past games like OCS and BCS, and then has transitioned into a designer for both Standard Combat Series and is doing a lot of work on the Battalion Combat Series. As a matter of fact, he just had a pretty in detail update on the Battalion Combat Series and where they're taking that series. Pretty cool. Go check it out. It's on BGG. I've retweeted it and all that stuff. But this is a Standard Combat Series game, and it's pretty cool in the sense that it's a one mapper, but you can play, I don't know, I think there's like 5 or 6 different points in history post World War II. So there's a 1945 scenario that is going to play the most like standard Combat Series. Then there is a 63 scenario with a little bit more differences. And the map will shift over time. This canal is only open in 75 and later, maybe. Different roads will turn into highways. The Autobahn gets open, yada, yada, yada. So the map has these built-in changes depending on which time period you're playing in. And then the orders of battle change. And so we're doing the 1975 scenario with the Warsaw Pact on the offensive, Bohemian Rhapsody. And why 75? I don't know. I said I was going to try to do some Vassal with 89 beforehand. My week just didn't play out that way. I just picked 75, a good blend of not quite 1989, but also not doing the 1945. And so if you're familiar with SDS, but you haven't played this, you're going to notice some differences just in like how combat's a little more detailed. We also have a whole air phase. It's very simple. There's a nice amount of chrome, from what I can tell, added on, but you're still not losing the simplicity of Standard Combat Series. No supply in 75. You have supply concerns in 45. And hey, Tony, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Lunch. That's an early lunch, brother. I just made my well, it's tea, but effectively my second cup of coffee. But yeah, so let's talk what's going on in this scenario, if you will. You got Warsaw Pact on the offensive. They need to do a couple different things. So they need NATO to collapse. There's different triggers, and they try to accomplish a bunch of them. One of them is to get, I think, 3 counters over the Rhine. they can take these 3 hexes, which is kind of a reach. Take 6 of 8 of these ports up here. Copenhagen, control this island. If NATO uses a nuke and Warsaw Pact doesn't use a nuke, not going to happen in this scenario. Or if NATO uses Kims and Warsaw Pact doesn't, not going to happen in this scenario. The reason I say that is the Russians are the ones with the assets, I believe. If I'm wrong, then maybe that changes. So not only do they want as many of those objectives, they need to control Berlin. And as soon as they control Berlin, we'll start rolling to see if the game ends, as long as they've triggered one other in-game condition. That makes sense, Tony. Are you off today, or are you like in the teacher's lounge checking out some standard combat series? The other cool thing going on with this game is we have this build-up period, and I'm kind of liking, like, here's the force disposition at the start of 1975, or at this point in time in 1975. Here's how forces were laid out. But then we're going to take this kind of indefinite, or, well, it's finite. It's just we don't know how long it's going to last build-up period where we can move our forces around. We just can't cross the Iron Curtain. We can't attack. Socks don't matter. There's no air. It's really just moving your guys to their combat-ready position. If you don't like the build-up phase, you can just go straight into, like, tactical surprise. So we could start the game right now, other than I have a few more pieces to put on the map, but you could just go right into it. But it's pretty neat. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, if you take a look at the basic rules for standard combat series, you know, it's 8 pages with a full page of designer notes here. The rules part, not just the scenario, not including the scenarios, is almost 20 pages, 17 pages for Iron Curtain. So there's quite a bit more depth in Iron Curtain than the past stuff I've looked at. Hey Harold, happy Friday. I'm not gonna lie, the title Bohemian Rhapsody also probably played a role as to why I picked this one to start off with. Hey Bill, happy Friday. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna try to defend SCS. I think it's either for you or not. Either you like checking the dice and just want a simple beer and pretzel war game, or you don't. But Carl did some really cool things. At least they seem really cool on paper. So right now we have the Brits, one Canadian somewhere down here, some of the armored U.S. forces on the map. We have all the Warsaw Pact powers, which are primarily Soviets. You got a few Czechs, Polish units, one Hungarian troop down there. And then I'm going to just chat while we finish setting up. Again, just because I think it's worth seeing what the setup of a game like this looks like, which it's very well organized on the counter sheets. What I don't know about is how the hell I'm going to put this game away. Because, for example, I'm placing the 3rd Mech Infantry Brigade from the 1st Armored Division in 1725. This is the one applicable for 1975. It also might be applicable in 1983. Might have a different one with different combat factors in 1989. Pretty cool, but I don't know how to sort that. And generally the game's divided by combat factors. That might be how I go about it. So when you're looking at the counter sheet, like all the 548s are grouped together. And only the 45 and 63 only units are marked as applying to those years. So this counter might be in multiple time frames. Anyways, not that big a deal. I just have no idea how I'm going to sort it once I'm done with this. Yeah, pretty dense on the counters just from like looking at other SCS stuff. Although my other SCS stuff isn't necessarily like robust. I only have 2 other ones. Karelia and the new North Africa one. All right, 3rd Infantry Division, 2522. I tried to do a bunch of this just because I knew it was going to take a long time, but well, this is just what it looks like. Here's the other thing. I'm no expert at this series. I read through the rules, but you also get to see like what it looks like, I guess. If there's any value in that of playing the game as the designers intend, which is scan the rules, get a brief understanding, and then just dive in, and that's what we're going to do. Although SCS makes that pretty easy to do. Alright, that's 3rd Infantry Division. 8th Infantry Division. One large paper bag. Multiple copies. Yeah. All of those are options. I don't know if any of those are options I will actually pursue. The other thing I was trying to do as I was punching this was keep everything on the counter sheet unless I needed to absolutely use them. And so some things are very barely hanging on by a little piece of cardboard. And I just don't want them to fall because I don't know where to put them, since I won't need them at all in this scenario. Because I've already punched most of the build-up stuff as well. Alright, and then Mannheim. 23, 27. There you go. Alright, on to the French. Here's the other thing. The NATO forces are 10 times easier to set up than the Russians, thanks to the division breakdown. So all the NATO forces have... There's 8th Infantry, and so you know... Oh shit, where did that guy go? 448 was in mines. You know he's 8th Infantry, so you can group all your 8th Infantry groups together and place them. You get the idea. The Russians are not organized that way. They're just a whole bunch of Russians. Really only organized by 26, 31, 32, 33. There. Organized by combat factor. Alright, 3. Oh, that's the wrong guy. Now, if you really didn't care about this stuff, as long as this is a 449 French armored unit, mech infantry, sorry, it probably doesn't matter, as long as all the stats are the same, but I'm not a barbarian, and I'm not gonna just use whatever counter. I need the flavor, right? Yeah, that's a good question. For my thought was sit on the NATO side, and then run top to bottom. If I was playing opposed, and it's funny you mentioned that, Harold. Like 75% of the way through setup, I realized, like, why am I pointing these all towards the north? And I guess that's what I do when I solo. If I was playing opposed, I'd probably be pointing at my my Russian counterpart on the other side of the table. So I guess north, but no good reason why. All right, 3rd French Division. What about everyone else? What's everyone playing this weekend? So while I finish this up and wait for those to trickle in, I'm playing War of the Triple Alliance on tomorrow. And then that'll be followed up with Sekigahara, which is a fantastic game. And I'm very excited to play War of the Triple Alliance because... What a unique topic. ATS Modern. How was the modern stuff, Mitch? I've been so distant from ATS. I haven't really looked into it. Yeah, I think with my stream setup with the vertical maps, I also think it's not ideal. I don't mind them in play. It's easier to sit across from each other, but like landscape recording. Oh, I kept my eye on that Stalingrad game. Mosaic. Haven't heard of that. Panzer Grenadier. Nice. The Avalanche Press Panzer Grenadier. Is that? Am I thinking of the right game? Seventh. All right. 449, 1335. Some of these guys, some of these units, I'm just wondering what the heck they're doing. Like when I was placing these guys initially, these Russians, and I guess like Prague is down here, obviously, but they're just kind of like out in the mountains, right? I mean, I'm sure there was a historical reason that all of you old timers could tell me, but all this topic predates me. But I'm just based off everyone chatting in the room, I'm going to assume that you all know a little bit more than me. I say that with kindness. 1934. Your rules have somewhat to be desired. Oh, that's too bad. All right, on to the Danes. And they don't have... Everyone else just has a little bit of... The Italians have a pretty decent showing, but not great. Well, hey, Tony, have a good weekend. At some point, we should talk Avalanche Press. I've been messing around with infantry attacks to get it on the table here, but we can talk about that when you don't have kids to teach and young minds to shape. So have a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by. All right, Danes. 5613. 13 up there somewhere. The biggest crime of this game, and it should be abundantly clear. There's a particular map, important country missing from our map. I am missing some, looks like, first of the Yeisk division. I'll have to grab them later because I want to get them set up and I want to start moving counters around. I don't know, Bill. I was actually talking to Doc the other night, and he did not seem optimistic. So maybe for him the writing is on the wall. I was talking to him on Wednesday, and he was talking about your game. 4522. 122. All right, Belgian units. Actually, I think that other Dane might be in the stack of build-ups, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Saigon, 3128. Nearly done with setup. Also thought, when I left this much to be set up, I thought it would go a little faster, but lesson learned. That's what it takes. 3528, is that right? Oh, 2928, right outside there. Okay. Austrians have a decent representation on the map too. I'm gonna be way over here. 605. Interesting to see how they the importance, things like the Austrians and Hungarians will matter in this game. Like in this scenario, actually, I think in most scenarios, I just don't think it matters unless you're trying to get guys over the Rhine. I don't know. Interesting. We'll see if they matter or not, or if it's just kind of a... Initially, I had like my bulls stacked up over there to use while I play, just because I figured like, that's not going to matter. But then I placed that Hungarian down there. I was like, oh, I gotta move some stuff. All right, 7th, nearly done. 410. Yeah, you know, I gotta say, I think Mitch knows this. Pretty sure we've talked about it. I really like India Pakistan. 1305. I don't know if it's. I don't know what about that game that just interests me the most. I don't know if it's the terrain, just the overall map presentation, or what, but something about India Pakistan, just when I see it, I don't know, it clicks. 1202. All right. Last up is are the Italians. So, in 214. Another kind of interesting thing is depending on the scenario, like if you're playing in 45, you have to, in the build up phase, you have to respect country territories. So pre NATO, and yeah, you can't just run around and not respect those. But later on, all these NATO forces can move around as they want as long as they don't go over the Iron Curtain. Door 417. Like this guy. What? I just don't think much of the game is going to come down to what that unit ends up doing. 620. But could be wrong. All right, Ariete Division. A 548. Goes in 217. 1617. And Melly. 216. Garibaldi. 118. And last but not least, oh, you know what? I was wrong earlier. NATO does have 12 nukes and 5 chem, so that will become a factor in this game. And you know I'm going to use them. There's just no doubt. Okay, so then we have some U.S. Air Forces, and again, I'm just going to drop when I commit things to air superiority up in the box up here, just because the tracks are kind of off. And then I have some other units, like I have a 1210 U.S. Commando Battalion. They're ready. They can kind of deploy across the map. Russians have some poles and some other stuff that's available to deploy. Warsaw Pact has some planes, all that stuff. It's funny. Yeah. The Warsaw Pact is definitely going to try to force it, but then I don't know. There's some interesting notes about using them. Maybe we'll just use one, not the other. I don't want to completely forego it. Okay, so I believe that is set up. We're going into the run-up turn sequence of play. So we don't worry about weather or anything like that first, because we're just moving units and having reinforcements come on. So 1975 order of arrival, run-up 1. Let me get my other little baggie of run-up troops. Hopefully we find our other Dane. I will just mark it with a counter. Aha, look at that, another Dane. Let's place him real quick, and then we're ready to rock and roll. 75 Danish units. Oh, no, that's the other Dane. I mean, okay, this die. This purple die is going to be our missing Dane in 5819. Boom. Okay, I'll fix that later. All right, 1975 Order of Arrival. We have a 146 West German Infantry Brigade. No, there's 6 of them. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. That's all these dudes. they go. Need to find their entry area. If it does not specify all others, that's for Warsaw Pact, NATO, West Germans, any Western German city, or major city hex. Okay, can I put them in any West German city, provided a friendly unit was the last to enter the hex, if any. If the last unit to enter the hex was enemy, the hex cannot be used. Sorry, it does not say where they have to go. Which means, I'm wondering if I can put them in, like, West Germany would be really the best place to put them. But I don't want to start off by cheating. Although, only one of the West, so stacking limit in this game is 2 units. And then a helicopter, which won't come into play here. So I could only just put 1 more, and I don't really necessarily feel bad about that. So let's do that. They're all 146s. Do I have any other better West Germans coming on? Because I would want to wait. That's a no. This is it for West Germans. Oh, an 030 in Berlin. That will specifically go into 3810. So I don't think I can place them there. Okay. West. Oh, I bet West German city does not. Yeah, duh. It does not include Berlin. That makes total sense because Berlin is not in West Germany. Someone could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty confident about that. All right. So I think we start with movement. And here's how it works. Units can move multiple times, actually. And you just kind of keep going until you hit the threshold. And then we'll increase tension and just kind of keep passing back and forward. So you move stack by stack. There's no Zocs, anything like that to worry about. And I need terrain effects. All right, we're underway. Let's do it. Here we go. NATO first. Warsaw Pact first. Okay, there's a couple guys I want to get to full strength. And that's considered, they can move later in the turn, but they could not have already moved. And so let's go ahead and we'll just pick this one here since they're already on a railroad. And then after moving, you roll for turn continuation. I'll use a big chunky dice here to, oh boy. I can see it, not a 1, so turn continues. Do recommend stay. Sorry, I'm seeing when the tension track moves up. Oh, when you check that. Yeah. So when it ends, we'll roll up here. No change from 1 to 3. On a 4 to 6, it'll go up by 1. It can't go up by 2. So, okay. All right. So now it passes to the other side. The NATO forces are in pretty good shape. Let's see what the Russians were supposed to get on build-up. They don't have much. They have a 6.58 coming on. Let me find the Russians. Where are the Russian movements? I had a little baggie of these, so I was organizing on top of it, but baggie is not missing. counter sheets. Where's a little bag of Russians? There it is. It was right next to me the whole time. Jeez. Okay, here we go. A 658. 30th Guards. And where are... The problem is, I also don't know what the Russian strategy is. I mean, it's kind of dabble in all of them. Entry area C. It's going to be down here, so probably on this road. Yeah, or this railroad. Okay, that is it for the Western powers. That whole wave of West German troops are going to come on for the NATO player. What is NATO going to do? Oh, no. You move your... We're going to keep moving. As long as we don't roll a 1. So they'll flip him next. Not a 1. Going to come up with a better spot to roll. They'll flip him. 4, not a 1. Alright, let's start moving people. Railroads are MP cost half for everything. Well, that's... Okay, yeah, Iron Curtain is here. So we can't cross that. We can go right up to it. Can't cross. So where do you think the half movement... Well, how about the guys that just came onto the map? Alternatively... probably want... The guys that came onto the map is tempting, but I also probably want 1, 2 to start filtering into Berlin. Because no matter whatever else I do, Berlin still has to fall. Here's the other thing. All the roads are primary roads in this game. This 969 is juicy. So 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4. No Ezox in the run-up. Okay, at least run the bull. Not a 1. Yeah, I think we want to keep dumping into Berlin. A 568's not great, so I probably want something juicy with that unit. Another 969, I think. Sure. Don't really need to overthink it. No 1. We're moving on. I wonder if you could do this like if both players agreed. I bet you could do this simultaneously. What is the movement? This rough for mech is 2 for leg. It's 1. This is rough. This is mountain. So the mechs, there's not a great area to, thrust into here. I was kind of thinking through Nuremberg, but there's a lot of U.S. forces here, and that just doesn't seem like a great move. So I think this should be our area of focus, which will probably move north, I guess. I don't know. It's so early. Early in the war, not early in the morning. Agonizing. Ugh. Let's get this guy out of here. He's kind of shitty. One half. One. No. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nowhere. So let's back it up. No, that's fine. I want to get over this hovel. Is that what this is? Hovel River? Okay. All right, rolling. 3. Okay, let's fill that gap we just opened up. I don't know exactly what the movement factor is in forest, but I'm sure we can get there. It's 1 for anything. 2. 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Need a little more rotation on that dice there. That seems suspicious. Okay. One, 2, 3. See, Tony, if you had just turned this on for your kids, you could have said, "Hey, everyone." I didn't mean to bump the camera there. This is why the Berlin airlift was a thing. Look at this. But missed opportunity. Valuable lessons could be learned today in the young minds of Mad Tony's children. Normally I'd be marking stuff that's moved, but there is no limit on what can move. And I can stop at any time, but I don't know if I rolled or not. But I'm fine with. I tell you what, let's get this. Crossing a river canal is just +1, so it's not that big a deal, but let's just go ahead and get it out of the way now. I could stop at any time, but we have the free world to defeat, Harold. One, 2, drop down to the road for 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Keep moving. You know, I think I've just put my sights on somewhere that I want to go first. I kind of like this. You know, we very briefly talked about it when we played our Den 2024, which has free setup, and that's not quite. I'm just going to put this here as a reminder that I think one of the first places I want to go is to Hanover. I like this kind of free setup, which that's not exactly what this is, right? But in essence, it is this ability to, all right, here's where everything's out. We're going to war. Make your opening moves, and then let's fight. I think that's cool. I think it would be really interesting to do that 2-player because, you know, you're trading blows back and forth, right? Warsaw Pact's going to make all these opening moves. It's going to bounce over to NATO. NATO makes their response back to Warsaw, and they keep doing as much as they want. And you just hope that you don't run out of tension level, or you're going to miss your shot. All right, here's another 969. I want to move up. So that's 2 to get over, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, where's he going? Did I already screw up? Now, Iron Curtain is the dark red line. Do they have to stay down there? It just kind of wraps around like Czechoslovakia. So I'm just checking what the... Okay, I can't cross any Iron Curtain border. So these folks have to stay down here. With that in mind, I'm gonna move. Okay, well that helps some of the planning. 447. 1, 2, 3, 648. 1, 2, 3. Train fixture here. Okay. Ooh, Mech does not like that. Which I don't know if I probably didn't violate anything up here. Whatever, I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright, Mech is black, Air Mobile is red, legs are white. Okay, so these Mech guys do get bogged down in the rough terrain here. It's 2. So they're all Mech. Dang. Okay. 1, 2. Ooh. 2.5. 4.5. 6.5. Not many people are going to be going through that little gap there. That's slow movement for this Mech. All right, got to roll. 4. 2, 4, 6. Head up to Snake Plissken. That's what it said. Hey. Now let's start looking elsewhere. I don't like any of that down there. Sure, let's get this German in the woods. Rolling. 4, 6, 5, 8. Let's get the 969 up there. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Passes Warsaw. And then that infantry guy unit comes on, the reinforcement there. Okay. T-break. NATO powers. So they've seen a little bit. And then we'll roll tension after this. And so if tension ever gets to 5 is when war breaks out. At some point, I'm sure you could just go, all right, war breaks out, let's get to it. But we're not going to do that today. All right, NATO response. So they don't know about the Hanover plan, and I'll do my best to ignore that. They do know the overall objectives, though, right? We have no reinforcements or units to recombine to get them battle ready. They do see this forming, though, and I think they want to respond to that. What do we have down there? A lot of smaller stuff. I mean, the Germans have such big numbers, or the Russians have such big numbers. It's weird to be talking about Germany map, and the Germans not be the bad guys. Or half the Germans not be the bad guys. I don't want to roll yet. Well, here's an easy one. Let's stop this road. Okay. So the Russians, I did it again. The Russians have all these big numbers because they're organized in divisions. And all the NATO stuff is broken down into brigades, I believe. Ooh. 6610 down here. That's kind of nice. But they'll be able to do some cool stuff with Air Mobile. So I don't necessarily want to commit them to the front line. Hello, 769 Brits right there. That's pretty juicy. Ooh, 658. Yeah, okay. There's some decent stuff here. I'm gonna move the dice over here. You just have to take my word for it on rolls. Keep it closer. All right, let's start with the 658. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two. Probably not going to be in the middle of the mountains of Austria. Well, let's get them in the woods. Block that up. Rolling again. 5. Okay. Anything else juicy down there that I'm missing? Because they need to go in. 769 can reinforce that pretty well. But it's reminding me of Beyond the Rhine. Brits up here, US down here. And there's a 648 down here. Let's go with that. 648. Now there's 758 right here. Even better. Can I get there? Yeah. 1, 2, into the woods. Now that's woods. Okay. I'm not going to take it back so much, but let's actually see what the combat effect of being in the woods is. Okay, forest is defender terrain, so it must give us some kind of benefit. And it is not no retreat terrain. So no retreat terrain, you can take losses instead of going out of there. But, for example, I probably don't want to be here out in the open with my pants down. The little canals, the river canals provide, this is a hexside terrain, so it only applies to terrain if all attacking units are attacking across. Okay. So holding this is probably crucial. I don't know if I rolled for that 758. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. What can we hold that with? Dun, 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 dun. That 6610 is forever tempting. 548. 549 Canadians way down here. That's just movement though. Otherwise they're identical 5-4s. All right. How about Belgians? 1, 2, 3. Oh. All right, 3. Castle's probably pretty darn important as well, and whatever is between Castle and Gotten, I'm not even going to try. So let's put that 769 in Castle. All right, next up. 5. Let's get this 5-4. We'll also hold there. 6, still rolling. Okay, what else does NATO see? Now, they know the Russians are going to try to take the Baltic Sea, but that is what it is. How are we doing on time, by the way? I know setup took a while. Oh, 10:30, okay. So we'll go for a little bit longer. We'll try to go until 1, and then we'll see what tension level gets to. This game is much more at risk of being disrupted by a little 3-year-old's wandering hands than All Bridges Burning, but I'll do my best to keep this one going. Definitely through at least next week and stuff, as far as we can go. But the full game is up to 10 turns, but as in a turn is you're only moving things once in those turns, so it's not as drawn out. Okay, let's put the Dutch in. I don't know. They're gonna move on that road, I guess. I mean, here's the lines of defense, right? I mean, you want to defend that, and then here, but you need to keep this protected. So let's get them inside. What is this, Hamburg? Okay. I might as well put them on the port. Actually, might bring the Brits up to hold the port. Okay, well, oops, just my camera here. Okay, that went the wrong way. Okay, yeah, let's bring the Brits onto this port outside Hamburg. 5. I think I want the Danes there just to protect against landings. Should probably put some guys in Copenhagen. That's what we'll do. Is there another port to defend, or is it just Copenhagen? Well, maybe holding this ferry is worth it. So in that case, what are you protecting? Definitely need something in Lybeck. 759. You're just holding the river. And seems important. I did try to flatten this out as much as I could. I don't want to use plexi. Normally I'd have plexi down, but I don't want to use it because of the glare. All right, now we roll tension. Okay, tension level 1. Okay, so we are on turn 2 of 1975 run-up, and that's as good a stopping part as any. I will go ahead and set the West Germans filling in on some of these cities. So these little 146s are going to spread onto the map in West Germany in any city or major city. And remember, folks, Berlin is not in West Germany. Thank you, everyone who stopped by. Everyone have a great weekend. Play some games, do whatever you do, I guess. And we will be back next Friday with more Iron Curtain. Thanks, everyone. Now you get to deal with me shutting the stream off. It's not ready. Any second I'll have it ended. Okay. Have a good weekend.